All right, everyone. Happy Halloween. I hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. It's your boy, Rome. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, as well as ring that bell so that you'll be notified of the next content that I create on this page. All right, guys, we're going to get right to it. So as you know, Final Cut has come out with a new version, which is 10.6. 10.6 gives us a lot of new features, but the features that I'm going to show you guys today are not limited to 10.6. You can do this in pretty much any Final Cut version that you're running. I'm just currently running 10.6 on a M1 Mac on Monterey, which is the new version of Mac OS. So depending on when you're watching this video, that may be relevant or not. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about here is how can you soften the skin on your on-screen talent. I know everyone's excited. The new cameras are out, 6K, 8K, 12K, but what comes along with those incredible resolutions is sometimes some unexpected artifacts or things that we may not want in our final video, or at least your client may not want. So how do you confront that? Depending on which application you're using to edit your video, this process might be a little bit different. I'm going to show you guys really quickly here 2 different ways that you can go about editing your video. Now, what we're looking at here on the screen is 3 4K files. And what I've done is I've created 2 versions or copied 2 versions of the exact same file. And what we're going to look at is the simplest way to clean these files up. So let's start with number 1. So as you can see here, the lighting is a little bit dark, but at the same time, this may be the look that the the client wants, or you as the camera person wants, whoever it is, shooting this content. So you don't always have to have your highlights up here at 100. This may be the exact same look, exact look that you're looking for. Now on the second version of this, I did do some adjusting. I adjusted the exposure. I adjusted the highlights, the midtones, as well as the shadows. So you should be able to see a difference here between the 2. And on the other clips, I haven't done anything yet. But we're going to use this first clip as our first example as to how we could go about softening the skin. Now, if you're using Photoshop or any of the other applications for editing photos, in theory, it's basically the same thing. Most of the time, what we're really doing is applying some type of blur effect to the skin. So that's exactly what we're doing here in Final Cut. We're going to be applying a blur. Now, as I said before, we're going to do 2 different versions of it. One is going to be a free version, and one is going to be a paid plugin that you would need to purchase in order to get this effect. So first of all, let's get to a point where we can really see all of the model's features. So let's say right there. So what you'd want to do here is go down to blur, and you would just scroll down to blur, or in this case, scroll up to blur. And we're looking for the Gaussian blur. So you would just take your Gaussian blur and you would drag it onto your clip. And automatically you're going to see that it's going to completely blur out the image. Well, what you want to do there is bring the amount all the way down to 0. And then at this point, you want to add a mask. So you're going to come here and choose your Add Color Mask. And you're going to just start to select the skin, the areas that you want to be affected by this effect. And then come up and click on where it says View Mask. And you can see the white is showing us what is selected, and the darker colors are showing us what is not selected. So if you come down here, you can start to adjust that a little bit, where you can see, we can just kind of narrow it down just to the skin and, refine it even a little bit more. Okay, so that's pretty good. So if we go back here and we look at our image, now what we can do is we can come up and we can adjust the amount of blur. So you want to be somewhere between 1.5 and maybe 4.0, that's going to give you a really nice blur on the skin without making it look, really, really artificial. So let's take a look at what we have here. Let's zoom in a little bit on the image. Let's just go ahead and go up to 200%. So if we go up to 200%, we can see her eyes. Now remember, this is not 8K or 6K footage, so it may not be that sharp, from what you're seeing on YouTube. But if we turn this off, you'll see that the pores start to come back. And then if we turn it back on, now of course we could take this up much higher and you start to get that really blurred out look, and that's not what you want. You want this to look really realistic. So I say stay somewhere between the 1.5 and 4.0, and that should give you exactly what you're looking for. So let's zoom all the way out to fit. And as you can see here, everything looks, a little bit better. Now, taking into consideration, what you're doing here, you're not going to get the type of reaction or effect that you would get if you were photoshopping this, because it is video. So let's go over to our next image and I will show you the paid plugin. So if we go down to, where is it? It's under My Effects. And if you purchase this, that's where it will be on your, under your effects. So again, you're just going to take that effect and we're just going to drag it onto our clip. And similar to the blur that we saw before, just using a Gaussian blur, it's very similar, but it gives you some extra features that the Gaussian blur doesn't give you right off. So let's just zoom in here a little bit. Let's get in about 100% and we can see our model's face. So we're going to do basically the same thing. We're going to click here and we're going to choose, we want our color map, want to add color mask, and we're just going to come in and just start selecting the skin. Then click on your mask so you can see exactly what you've selected. Now, if you need to select more areas, you can just hold Shift and you should be able to go in and just, select additional areas there like that. And then come down here to this little tab here, and then you can kind of fine tune it. Now, what this plugin gives us is a few other features. One, obviously we can do our skin smoothing, so we could bring that up to, maybe 4, and that's going to soften the skin somewhat. But then it also gives us the ability to mix. So then you can adjust the mix on the skin to determine exactly how much of it you want to, be in your image. Then you also have brightness. So you can come here and click on brightness. You can brighten the skin. You may want to add just a little bit of brightness to the skin just to give it a little bit of a pop. And then you can also adjust the mix on that. Contrast is basically the same thing. You can go really strong with the contrast, or either very low. But what you really want to do here is, less is more. So you could bring that up just a little bit. And saturation is basically the same thing. You could really bring up the saturation and, make your person into a Oompa Loompa, or you can keep it somewhere, within, normal tolerances, just to, give a little bit more life to the skin tone. So as you see, with the two different effects, we went from this to this, which gives us a much softer look to the skin tone. Now, like in all things, like I said, before, moderation is the key. It's very fast. You see exactly how fast I was able to achieve this. Some of us working with models, working with model portfolios and things like that, we have a tendency to shoot some of the behind the scenes footage. And this is a perfect type of filter, whether you're using the plug-in or you're doing it the generic way that I showed you before by just using Gaussian blur. If you want to soften the skin on your model so that the edited images look a little bit closer to what you're shooting for your behind the scenes, you do basically the same thing. You would just apply the plug-in or the Gaussian blur filter. Then just come up here and choose your masking tool and then just start selecting the skin. And then click on your mask layer so you can see exactly what you're getting. And then you can just come in here now and just start fine tuning that and getting it exactly where you want it. And we would turn our mask off again. And then I would bring that up to maybe about, 2.0 or something like that. Now, of course, make sure that you're using a high resolution monitor so you can really see what you're doing so you don't wind up with a blurry mess. But if I turn this off and on, you can see the difference. Now, it's very subtle, and subtle again, less is more, as like I said before. You just want to clean it up just enough where it looks like there's really good lighting or perfect makeup or something like that. You're, again, not going to get the effect that you would get if you were doing this on a still image in Photoshop. But it will soften the skin, especially when you're working with talent or you're working with executives or, people who are doing, talking head segments and things like that, and you really want to get in and just soften the skin up just a little bit. The most important thing is your choice of lenses, your f-stop, as well as your lighting. That can have a big effect on how sharp your image is going to be and how much of it's going to be in focus. And then once you have captured, the perfect clips and things like that, this is just something that you could do at the end to just bring it, to that finishing. So you could finish it off with, really, really high quality skin softening, and your clients will love you for it. Trust me, they will, so. All right, guys, so it's Halloween, and the trick-or-treaters are going to be out soon. They're going to be knocking on my door and drive my dog crazy, so I need to be out front, masked up, ready to distribute some candy. It's my son's birthday, so, we got all those things going on at the exact same time. So I'm going to wish you all a very, very happy Halloween, and I will catch you guys in the next live. That should be sometime next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. So, make sure to subscribe, comment, and ring that bell so that you'll be notified next time that I'm live. Obviously, this video will be here on YouTube for you guys to watch. I will be paying attention to the comments. So if you have any questions related to exactly what I've shown in this video, or if you know a better way to do this that is more efficient, that's maybe a little bit faster, or even more detailed, feel free to leave those links or your comments below. In upcoming videos, I will show you exactly how I go in and I deal with in video, acne, and if I have to blur something out and I need to track the black, the area that I'm blurring out, there's a number of different ways you can do that. But even now, it's even much easier because now we have built-in tracking in Final Cut Pro 10.6. But again, that's going to be an upcoming video, maybe next Sunday. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys, so stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, get out there, enjoy this Halloween, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.